Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Or I should say good morning or good evening, depending where you are in the world. But welcome and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Conversation with Dune and Friends today. My name is Dune Win, and today we have a special guest joining us, a fellow speaker, a fellow trainer, fellow lots of different things we have in common. We'll talk a bit about music as well and his interactions with some of the music, famous people in music back in the day. But we have Bob Idea Man Hooey with us today, Bob Hooey. So Bob Idea Man Hooey partners with committed leaders and organizations to enhance profitable growth and success. He is a prolific author of business and career success books who travels the world and sharing his ideas at work. You can find more information about Bob through the website, one of his many websites. One of them is www.ideaman.net. So without further delay, I'm going to invite Bob to join us here. And so I'm going to just... Good afternoon, Bob. How are you today?
Doing well, Dune. How are you doing?
Good, good. Let me just put you on the left-hand side here. Give me a second.
It's funny when you can do.
Yeah, we're live, and let's go to the public tab and see if any of our viewers had made any comments.
So person knows what to do with my wife. She's the techie in our family. I'm the talkie.
Well, you have a good team there in Irene and you, and I know you travel the world together. But maybe to start off, tell us a bit more beyond that short bio there, Bob. Tell us more about your background and what you've been up to and where you're heading before we get into any questions.
Well, I started down this path as a kitchen and bath designer. And what moved me into this is I was doing programs. I actually wrote a book and did a program called How to Remodel Your Kitchen and Stay Married, as a way of attracting clients who would then realize there was more to it than they thought. And, you know, we do a program, and at the end, at least 2 or 3 couples would come up and say, could you help us with our kitchen? I said, of course, that's why I'm here. And it was a great way of building business. I got a chance to start speaking with Rotaries and those kinds of groups, again, just talking about kitchen design, those kinds of things. And that led to, again, additional business until I reached a point where I had to, I hit not a roadblock, but I hit a fork in the road that I wanted to make a decision whether I wanted to continue being a kitchen designer who spoke part-time or a full-time speaker. And I went full-time.
Yeah.
And that led to traveling the world.
Now, tell us the story of how when people ask you what you did for a living, you described it in a very unique way. I see you have, I think the internet connection might be a little problematic there with the Wi-Fi. So hopefully Bob will come right back in here. And so Bob and I met years ago. I think it might have been well over 10 years ago at an organization called CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. And Bob has been a speaker for decades. You know, he probably, I don't know how many decades. I'm guessing 4 at least, maybe more. So thank you for coming back here, Bob. Can you hear me over there in the green room?
And for some reason, it fell off again, but that's okay. So anyway, you were asking me to tell you the story of something or other. People would ask.
Yeah. When people ask you, you know, what you did for a living, you had a very unique way of responding to that.
Way of being creative. People used to ask me what I did for a living. And I finally got smart and started leading with the benefit. And I would say, I make women happy for a living. And I'd pause and I'd say, and their husbands pay me for it. And then people go, what do you do? What do you do? And I say, I design kitchens. And they go, well, yeah, okay. But at least I had their attention for a minute. That's part of being creative in leading with the benefit and getting people's attention, which has always been a challenge, but something that works in many industries.
Hmm. I was just telling our audience while you were off for just for a few seconds there that you've been in the speaking business for what, 40, 50 years? How many years has it
Oh,
been,
no.
Bob?
I started down this path 29 years ago.
29 years ago. Um, you
Yeah, I know
know,
I was about 10 at the time, but
yeah, yeah. We'll start with an interesting fact about you. You shared a photo a little while ago about, was it Jimi Hendrix that you met way back when? Tell us about that
mhm.
story.
Well, back when I was in, I think it was at college age, they used to have something called standby fares,
Mm-hmm.
like with the airlines where you could show up at the airport and you'd get to fly for like half price or a
Mm-hmm.
third of the price if you were willing to go like right then. So I heard that there was a whole bunch of people going to be doing a big uh, concert in Vancouver. And
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Edmonton in those days, which is where I'm at now. And so I went to the airport, literally got on a flight, got there, somehow got a ticket, and not only got a ticket, but got into one of the sky booths.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Jimi Hendrix, Vanilla Fudge, Cream, Three Dog Night. It was an amazing
Mm-hmm.
concert.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there, and Jimi Hendrix came on, and he was blowing everybody away. He was just, I mean, we're talking talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just remarking, and I said, "Man, this guy is good." And this older black gentleman who was sitting next to me said, "Oh, that's my son."
Mm.
And I went, "Really?" And he said, "Would you like to meet him?" And I said, "Yeah." So he literally took me backstage after the concert, and I got to hang out with Jimmy for about an hour, and we just talked and chatted. And I found he was very shy in person, which is
Mm-hmm.
just the opposite of what he was on stage. And
Yeah.
on stage he was bigger than life, but in person he was just very quiet, and we had conversation just like you and me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Well, thank you for sharing that. I know you, in your days, you were very plugged into the music scene as well, I suppose, and
I sure
probably
liked it.
had some high decibel noise level
About
exposed
that.
to that. So tell us about this speaking journey that you've been on. Maybe tell us a story of how chronicles your journey there with speaking. And I know you speak in many, many countries, and you travel how many countries so far, Bob?
60. I was due to be in 61 last month because I was booked to speak in Barcelona, and then we were going to do a program in Lisbon, Portugal on the way home, which would have been the 61st country. But
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 snuck in there and sort of canceled that till next year. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm hoping I get at least 100 before I die, or I can't
Ah,
travel. So I
yes.
work on it a few every year.
Hmm. So let's start from the beginning when you got into speaking 29, 30 years ago. Take us through that story.
Well, like I said, I started when I was still a kitchen designer, and I was using speaking as a way of attracting clients,
Mm-hmm.
and then speak to Rotaries and Lions and associations.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found that people would start coming up to me and say, "Could you come and speak to our group?" And so I would do short. Initially, I only had about maybe 20 minutes of content,
Mm-hmm.
and I got an invite. National Kitchen Bath Association set up a speakers bureau.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first year I put in some stuff and nobody hired me, nothing. But the
Mm-hmm.
second year I redid it, and I came up with another one
Mm-hmm.
on my time management program, which at that time was called I'm already running as fast as I can. We've changed it now just to keep it simple to say running too fast. But at that time it was I'm already running too fast or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got booked to speak from a chapter in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really good because they paid me $1,500. They flew me down, and I spoke for like an hour and 15 minutes on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then they dropped me off in Scottsdale Friday night about midnight. And I spent the day in Scottsdale and flew home on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, guy could I was sitting, I still remember sitting by the pool on Saturday with a Pepsi, thinking, guy could get used to this.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the beginning of saying, maybe I could do it. So for the next year or so, I would speak in addition to being a kitchen designer, I made arrangements with the guy I was working with because in those days you wouldn't get a lot of last minute stuff. It'd be 2-3 months at least down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say I need to take this weekend off to go speak, and I'll make up the days.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of that year, the company I was working for, in their wisdom, decided to change all their sales staff to no draws against commission
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks before Christmas, which was a crappy time to do it and a crappy choice as well. So I decided at that point, I thought, okay, I'm not going to work for this company anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I took some time off, and I actually went and sat on a beach in Rarotonga in the Cook Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was there, I started thinking, okay, I was a certified kitchen designer, so it wasn't like I'd be unemployed very long, because there was 15 of us in BC and none of us were out of work. So, but I thought, I really enjoyed the speaking, and I thought, well, I thought about it. I thought, okay, I made sure maybe if I put my efforts at this, and we've been doing this now for, full time for about 25 years.
Mm-hmm. 25. Great. So you have
it just continued growing from there. It's just
yeah. I know you do a lot of book writing as well. How many books have you written over the years, Bob?
I think we're well north of 30. In fact, I'm just finishing another small Kindle short today called Write On.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're doing a how to write a book event on the 2nd, so I figured I'd write a little book to give away to everybody who signs up.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I've been working on that. I'm waiting for 2 pieces to come in from other authors, and then that'll go to print. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's just, and again, that all started with the speaking. I used to have people would come up to me and they'd say, "Do you have a book?" And I'd just say no, and I'd say no, and I'd say no, and eventually I changed the answer to, "Why would you buy one?" And people would say, "Yeah." People started buying it. And then we did a second and a third and a fourth. And again, people kept buying it. So the more I spoke, the more I sold. And then along the way, we just kept updating it. Like Speaking for Success, we just updated. It's its 9th edition this year.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful. So you got speaking, and you've got a lot of writing, and a lot of international travel to tune of like 60 different countries so far, aiming at 100 by the time you kind of retire, right? And so tell us a little bit about your travels. What kind of places do you travel? What are some kind of key insights you gain from that? Like, why do you love traveling so much? I know it costs a lot of money too.
Well, it costs a lot of money, but sometimes if you're doing it where you're speaking, you get paid to travel. I've got a fair amount of that too. I've spoken professionally in about 20 some countries, or 20, I'd have to look at it, where people actually paid me to come and speak. And so one of the reasons I like to travel is very simple. I love the people. I love seeing new places. I love experiencing new things. And I collect friends all over the world.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, this might be a good time for me to just play the demo video, the speaker demo video. While I cue it up, if you could just introduce it, that would be great, Bob.
Okay. Well, this was a video that David Papp and his team here in Edmonton put together for me with clips from around the world. And what he suggested, what I did is I sat in and said, okay, here are some clips of me speaking in Rome and speaking in different places around the world. And he took some slicing and dicing and put it together for me. So really what I wanted to do is I wanted to say without saying, Bob's an international speaker. And I think the video brings that across, because you see clips of me in various parts around the world.
So I'll be off camera here, and then I'll cue that up, okay? And let us know if you can.
Okay. He just told me that my dreams were too small. And I told him I wanted to be a speaker and travel the world and encourage people to live their lives. Hi, I'm Bob Hooey, sometimes called the Idea Man. I actually came to Toastmasters because I had a dream. I had a dream that I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to speak my way around the world and encourage people and inspire people. That's where I started. So 60 countries later, here we go. And you're gonna run into detours. You're gonna run into challenges. You're gonna run into things that will make you question your sanity. Why did I ever give up my job to do this? And if you don't have a really big dream, you won't have the strength to go through those challenging times. But words can make a difference. We can use our influence to inspire and to impact the world around us. See, I have a belief that in times of crisis, the leaders emerge. I believe that at times of crisis, the people with good conscience and good ideas step forward, and people follow them because they're right. You know, one of the things that I love is I get a chance to travel the world, and whether it's here in Canada or around the world, working with leaders and their teams, helping them set goals, be more productive. The leaders, for example, have some of the same challenges that all of us do in terms of recruiting talent, keeping them focused, being profitable, those kinds of things. And really in today's challenging times, what we have is people want help and they want hope. And that's my business.
What are you going to do when you see somebody being picked on?
Okay, I told her she's...
And the grade sixes and the grade sevens, when somebody needs a champion, what are you going to do? All right, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, you make a difference.
Now, I'm just going to say one thing in conclusion. I'm telling you my story, and I'm telling you as I see it, but I don't want you to take my word for it. Just ask Charlie. Very cool. Thanks for sharing.
That was awesome.
For sharing that, Brenda. It's always fun to see me in action, especially now when I'm not traveling anywhere.
Yeah, you and the rest of the speakers internationally are having a very different lifestyle these days with COVID, huh?
Yeah, it's a challenge, all right, I tell you. But it's interesting. When we had an event last month, and part of what I shared when I did that is I thought, okay, I've realized that I can't travel the world, but my message can.
Yeah.
And so that's helping me reframe what I'm doing and enjoying doing things like this with you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. So tell us more about the whole kind of speaking. I know Toastmasters. Maybe talk about Toastmasters. I'm sure you have lots of Toastmasters friends out there who are watching now or later. The recorded thing. Yeah. So what are your maybe some stories and tell us a bit about your start in Toastmasters and your involvement there.
I've been a Toastmaster now I'm in my 30th year as a Toastmaster. I came to Toastmasters originally because I wanted to learn how to be a professional speaker. And that's John Noonan, who was a friend of mine, who was at that time the immediate past international president of Toastmasters. I knew him from the Federal Business Development Bank. And he had heard me speak. And a nice way of saying was, Bob, he asked me, he said, Bob, have you ever heard of Toastmasters? You could hone your skills just a little before you go out and go pro. Because I was a professional speaker. It was this nice way of saying, you suck right now, but you can get help and you'll be better. So it's good. And so I joined Toastmasters in March of 1991, I guess. Yeah. And found a very supportive group of people that were also learning along the way, and they encouraged me and pushed me. And along the way, I continued to have this dream, and I kept working on it. And then I got into leadership in Toastmasters, which gave me opportunities to speak to larger groups, which also gave me a chance to develop my leadership skills, which is one of the areas that I speak about is leadership, legacy, and how to build effective teams and those kinds of things. And along the way, somewhere along the way, that's where we made the move into professional speaking. I got involved with NSA, the National Speakers Association. There were 4 of us from Vancouver that belonged to the Northwest chapter of NSA, and would literally drive to Seattle every month to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, hey, they're starting something in Canada called CAPS. At that time, they had a chapter in an NSA chapter in Toronto called CAPS, and they had a branch or a smaller version of. And so we said, well, why don't we start one in Vancouver? So we did, and that was actually the first 3 of the 5 that got started that helped us start CAPS nationally here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time that summer, we started the International Federation for Professional Speaking, which is now called the Global Speakers Federation. So that's kind of the thing there. And I still think it's funny when I got my charter pin from CAPS and some of the other things, that I think about it. When did I get to be the old guy? Because I'm a founding member of CAPS. I'm a founding member of Global Speakers Federation. I'm also a founding member of PSA Spain, the Professional Speakers Association of Spain now, because I'm taking what I'm learning and helping other groups. But I just think it's funny. I guess you live long enough, people get to think you know something.
Hey, cool. That's about Toastmasters. You're right. It's a very, very supportive organization, very positive organization. You might not know this, but I actually started a club back a number of years back as their charter president. Do you know the club that I started way back when?
What was the name of it?
Does TM for PM ring a bell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was their first president back in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we have a Toastmaster connection as well.
You bet. We have a Toastmasters connection as well. So again, many folks out throughout the world have fond, memories and fond, really feelings about Toastmasters, even when they're really professional in their speaking business. Still find it to be a very supportive place and very.
I find it a good place to practice, and like I tell people, I'm still learning. Like for example, when I spoke last year, both in Barcelona and in Paris last year, I spoke in Paris at the French Speakers Association in May. I actually practiced speech twice here, once in Calgary at Toastmaster events, so that I could break it down and deliver it with more expertise when I hit the stage in Paris.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's one of the advantages of it. And again, the same thing. There's a lot of people who are what I would use the term brand name speakers who have been or are already still Toastmasters, and for similar reasons. They're still learning, they're still growing, they're still giving back. There's a whole bunch of that happens from the connection. And for me, it's a great way of making friends around the world. I jokingly tell people I have friends around the world. Some of them I've even met.
Yes.
And some of that is Toastmasters. Some of that is professional speaking. So when I'm traveling, if I'm traveling somewhere and I have some time off, like if I have a day off, like for example, Irene and I did a 17-day tour through China. And we were going to be in Beijing for 3 days, and there was one day that was an open day. So I got in touch with the people who were in leadership in that district and said, hey, I'm going to be in Beijing. I have one of these 2 days open. I wasn't sure which one until we get closer, either this day or this day open. Would you like me to do something? So we set it up, and I did an afternoon program on leadership for one of their clubs in Hyundai, which is one of the car companies, but had a plant there. And then in the evening, we did one on presentation skills, with about 300 people showed up. And that was, other people were off shopping. I was off speaking, because that's my passion. That's my fun.
Now tell us, so again, on this theme of international travel, tell us about Paris. And we have a clip here of Bob Hooey in Paris. And so maybe introduce it before I cue it up here.
Okay. Well, the clip that you're showing is that's the second time I spoke in Paris. The original clip that you shared with as the demo tape with me doing the Just Ask Charlie was also for Paris, and that particular one, the shooting of the people at Charlie Hebdo, all these people were killed, just happened just before we went, about 3 weeks before. So I wanted to make a statement about that in terms of people took to the streets and said, they were saying, "I am Charlie," because they wanted to say to the terrorists, "You can't stop us." So I was asked to come back again last year. And so I did a program on the masters keep creating, because I thought, from what I'm learning in my business and watching other speakers, is the people that we would consider masters, the people we emulate, the people we want to become, are constantly working and fine tuning their skills. They don't stop. They keep growing. They keep toning it. They keep working on it. Just like a comedian will practice his jokes, seeing how many words they can take out and still be funny, to hone it to its best possible bit. So that was what I spoke about in Paris. That's part of what you'll see with this clip.
Great. I will cue it up here.
Well, the joys of traveling when you're not able to travel.
Now, mastery takes many forms. The arts, the sciences, in business, and speaking. The thing I've learned over the years is masters learn by doing, and they learn from other masters. And those of us in the speaking business, as we seek to master our industry, to master our skills, we need to learn from other people. And one of the things that we've heard yesterday was we need to learn to ask. One of the things that I have learned over the years is people are more willing to give than I was to ask. Let me explain to you how business works. In business, you always have to be ready for setbacks and challenges and detours and being rerouted. And he said, one of the things I've noticed, that if you don't have a dream that's big enough, if it doesn't push you, if the passion for that dream doesn't push you, you're going to hit a roadblock and you're going to quit.
Bob is a model for all speakers. He's about what it means to share, what it means to give, what it means to learn.
He was totally humble. He was just himself. He was very soft, very intimated.
Then the other one. Anybody recognize that? That's St. Peter's. Michelangelo was asked to come in and finish the design, redesign it, and build that at 71. And at 71, he started doing that. He worked on that until he died just before he turned 89. That was his dedication to his craft. That was his dedication to what he was doing in his art and making things happen. And at 87, he gave me a quote that has made all the difference for me. At 87, having been a sculptor, an artist, an architect, he said, "I'm still learning." At 87. You and I are creators too. Artists of the spoken word. Our words are brushes that are dipped in rich colors and culture and concept, to do broad strokes and maybe small definitive things to add color and depth on the minds of those who listen to us. Our words are also chisels to take on the blocks that stop our audiences from seeing who they are. We use our words to inspire people to greatness, to dare greatly, to take chances, and to maybe make mistakes, but still learn from those mistakes. Leonardo never finished the Mona Lisa. He never turned it over to the patron that paid for it. In fact, he was constantly playing with it. In fact, he redid the smile, I've heard, 22 times. That dedicated was he to his craft and to perfection and making something of value. See, we can do that. We can bring that to what we do in our business.
He brings such an expertise, but also such a heart. In so many years of traveling and learning from people and giving to people.
And what I remember from him is a very good lesson. Keep learning all your life and be perseverant.
We're here because we want to grow. And I want to challenge you to keep doing that. Because the world needs what you have to offer. Each of you. And you never know where you might just become the next Michelangelo of motivation. Or the Leonardo of learning. Could be you. Or maybe the Picasso of possibilities. Think about it. Bon chance, my friends.
Well, that was cool, hey?
Wow. Another amazing memory.
How long were you in Paris that particular trip?
I think we were there for a week.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The conference itself was actually 2 days. And I can't remember if I spoke the first day or the second day. But
now you said we. Did Irene go with you?
Came along. Anything to Paris, she'll be there. I'm not going to Paris without her. So while I spoke, she came and heard me speak.
Mm-hmm.
She came for the meal, but otherwise she spent her time at the museums.
Right, right.
And this particular time, we went to the Louvre, which is what we do every time.
Mm-hmm.
But we also got to the museum of d'Orsay,
mm-hmm.
which was done in a railway station that was designed originally for the World's Fair,
mm-hmm.
and then later was decommissioned and turned into a museum. And if you've never been to it, folks, if you ever go to Paris, go check it out, because it's filled with amazing art. I mean,
mm-hmm.
you've got Monets and you've got Picassos, and you've got everybody that you can think of in there, sculptor and painting. But the building itself was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The building itself was just unbelievably well designed, and with the texture and the use of various parts of it, just, it gave me lots to think about, and to keep learning. I mean, that's again part of what I do. I love traveling because I see, especially in Europe, I see some of the older buildings,
mm-hmm.
and buildings that inspire me. Not just the typical stuff like we have here, like the ticky-tacky boxes and high level cubes that
mm-hmm.
we have in Canada, but buildings with some character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing how diverse the world is in that way. So question for you, Bob. You have lots of different websites. I would like to maybe go to your main website, the ideaman.net website, and maybe tell us what you offer there for people who visits that website. Is it all right if I bring it up?
Yeah. By the way, the end of the clip is still on.
Oh, sorry. You're seeing that in the green room. I don't think it is being shared. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. I'm just going by what I see.
Oh, I see. Now, at this point, you should see the. I'm going to bring up the thing here. So give me a second. Can you now see the website as well? Then.
Just give it. Yep, there it is.
Mm-hmm. So what it is I'll be off camera here, and tell us, maybe point out a few areas of interest to our viewers who might want to check out your website to be able to get some benefits for themselves there. So I'm going to be off air.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we've done the last time we updated the website is we added some video clips like the two you've just seen today. We also have lots of live links to other things. One of the things that people like about my site is it's an idea-rich site. It's really stacked full of things that people can use. Like, for example, articles. There's several hundred articles on there that you can read, or you can download, or you can use for your business. There's things that you can use in there, success tools, which is our books and tapes. There's a whole section on meeting planners in terms of helping people. Yeah, there's some of the articles and stuff. The meeting planners, a whole bunch of material in there to help them successfully plan and deliver events, because I've been involved in lots of events over the years, so I've learned a few things, and I find myself coaching people that call me about doing an event. And sometimes what I get is somebody's executive assistant calling about an event, and I ask her questions. Well, have you done this or that? Oh, no, I hadn't thought about that. So actually, one of the things that I did is I created that part of the site, as well as a downloadable book on how to have an effective meeting that just made it easy for people to, gee, that's a lot of articles. Holy doodle. Some of them are mine, some of them are friends. This is the advantage, Dune, of having a lot of brilliant friends around the world is again, putting the word out saying, hey, I'm creating an area that has some articles that people can download. Would you like to share? And as you can see, lots of people did. But there's videos on there. There's links to our social media. There's a lot of information on, for example, the keynotes that we offer, on the training programs that we offer. Stories in there about some of our clients, some of the coaching we offer, that kind of stuff. I think the biggest thing you want to do when you're doing a website is make sure it represents you well and tells your story. So you can say to people, if they look at the website, oh, that's what this person does. That's what this person offers. That's what I can get if I hire this person. So we've tried to do that. And about every couple of years, Irene, who's the web designer in the family, will go in and work on it. And I'll go on work on the copy and the content, and she'll work on making sure it's presentable. The one thing I've learned about websites is they don't have to be beautiful. They just need to be functional, give good, solid value, and be easy to navigate. So that's the one thing that we focused on over the years, is being able for people to find information if they want it. And here's a little tip. If you're doing something, make sure there's a way of contacting you on every single page of your website, because you don't know where somebody's going to come in. They may come in on one little page that's 4 or 5 levels down from where you start, but you still want them to be able to find you. So that's one of the things that we've done with our websites, is make sure that people know who we are, where we are, and what we can do for you. And there it is. That's the Idea Man site. Did that cover that well enough for you, Dune?
You bet. Thank you for
what you wanted. I can keep going, but they can go to the website and check it out for themselves.
You bet. No, I just wanted to give them a flavor of what's out there. The main point is that you have lots and lots of valuable content for them to download and read and watch, and not just your own contents, but from your colleagues within the speaking world as well, right?
Well, that's one of the things that I believe in. I believe that just like when they started the National Speakers Association, which was the beginning of all of this going around the world, there were 7 or 8 speakers that used to get together once in a while and share ideas. Mm-hmm. And they decided to make the pie bigger rather than fighting about it. So they started sharing and helping each other and promoting. And that resonated with me. Mm-hmm. That totally resonates with me. And I think you'll find that almost everything I do, I look for ways to involve other people and pull them into it, so that I can give them exposure and give them a push, because I believe in the long run that helps everybody, and it certainly doesn't hurt me to help other people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The thing is, very often what happens, you build relationships because you do that, and not because you do that, but as a result of doing that, you build good relationships. So when you need help, people are more willing to say, absolutely, Bob, I'll help you.
You bet.
Look look what we did. Look what we did with you guys.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it yet, but with the Global Speakers Summit in Vancouver in 2013.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, tell us the story.
Yeah. Well, this, for those of you who don't know, this was Dune and some other folks who were musicians within CAPS. Their first chance, they called themselves Elevation. It was their first chance on an international stage. I was creating and hosting the fundraiser event for that evening. It was called the Music, the Magic, and what else was the third
movement
and the movement. And so I had a couple of musicians at the beginning, and I had 5 magicians doing performances and those kinds of things. And some of the guys that were working on Elevation said, "Hey, we've been practicing. Could we maybe speak? Or could we maybe play?" And I said, "Have you played together?" "No, we've been doing it online, and just each of us practicing." So I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'll create some space at the end, but I'll save it as a surprise." And so I sat in with them. They met for the first time, and practiced literally all day, and I think part of the next day. And I sat in on it. I thought, "Ooh, these guys are good." So at the end of the evening, we'd had an amazing evening. We raised lots of money, both for CAPS and the groups around the world. I said, "Folks, we got one more surprise. And the first time we're going to debut on the international stage, Elevation, with the CAPS speakers, performing." And then you guys did that. I actually got a chance to sing with you, which was really kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you did that for a number of years at successive conference. So it was neat for me to be able to give you that chance to take the international stage and to have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like you're queuing it up.
Yeah, I'll cue it up, and I'll be off camera here. I'll play your introduction, and then I'll play just a bit of the music with you on stage with us as well. Okay, so just a taste for our audience to get a sense of what we're talking about here. So
we've just had so much fun together, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to say that for a number of reasons. I have been serving as a trustee on your board for 5 years. And in those 5 years, I have seen us turn the trustee role into something of honor and service. I've seen us turn the foundation into a functional foundation where we really are speakers among speakers. I've seen it grow where it has become our foundation, and that is exciting. And that is a great place for me to step off. This is actually my last official event as your trustee. I want to thank you for the service and the 5 years that you've spent. And I want to say, for their international debut here on your stage, never presented before, or maybe never again. No, never presented before. This is taking it to the elevation. This is Elevation at the Summits.
How you doing? How you doing? All right, we got to give a little bit of history here. Everybody on the stage is either presently a CAPS member or about to become one. Just pointing. Fabulous. like a machine. She must have been about 17. Was going strong, playing my favorite song. Telling the woman belong, she was with me, yeah, me. And until it wouldn't belong, she was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. Pulling on the time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Gonna take the time and dance with me. Smile so mellow, and I ask her name. That don't matter, son, it's all the same. Say, can I take you home? Well, we can be alone. Next we were moving on. She was with me, yeah, me. Next we were moving on. She was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. Put on the time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Gonna take the time and dance with me. Well, we can be alone. Next we're moving on. She was with me, yeah, me. And we were moving on and singing that same old song, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. Putting all the time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Come on, take your time and dance with me. I love rock and roll. Putting all the time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Come on, take your time and dance with me. I love rock and roll. Putting all the time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Come on, take your time and dance with me. I love rock and roll. Putting all the time in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Come on, take your time and dance with me.
There you go. On the stage again. I'm hanging out with my friends again.
That was fun, hey?
It was. And again, thanks for the blast from the past.
Yes, yes. Now you did some awesome stuff with the passing zone as well, with all of the, we saw a bit of that in the demo video there where knives were flying across and you were standing there. Yeah.
Well, people seem to enjoy watching me sweat, which is what I told Owen and John are friends of mine from a long time from NSA.
Mhm.
And they were with us that weekend. They were doing some of their work and tricks and stuff, and as well as being our MCs. And they said, we're done at noon, but we're not leaving till later. So could we come and do something for you? I said, well, if you could you do one of your dangerous stunts? Because I think people would enjoy it. And so we actually scripted that. I don't know if you know that, but we actually scripted it and I was talking about something and they wandered on stage pushing a cart. And I turned around and said, hey, oh yeah, we're still here. We still had one more trick we wanted to do. And I said, well, maybe we got time, folks. Can we fit it in? Yeah. Okay. So I said, okay, guys, here's the passing zone, John and Owen. And they said, we need a volunteer, Bob. And so they literally had me standing on stage with my arms out like this. You can't see her, with two plates spinning on each hand. I was wearing a helmet with 5 torches that were flaming, and they were on either side of me, throwing knives in front of me and behind me. And the audience loved it. It was that was part of the magic of the moment.
Yeah.
And that evening. So that was my 5th year and a 3-year term on the CAPS Foundation Board.
Well,
they threw me into staying one more year to get that done.
With the power of the internet, I have just did a quick search and found the video. Would you like me to show that little video clip?
Oh, for sure. Why not?
Well, let me cue it up here.
Watching me sweat too.
Yeah. So keep on talking. I'm going to take myself off of.
Okay. Yeah, it's the nice thing about this, amazing people in our industry that, again, are just really willing to help you if you're open to it. And sometimes you just have to say, yes, sure, go ahead and do that. You have to give people permission to just enjoy themselves. And then you have to be willing to receive what they're going to give you. And in this case, they gave not only me, but they gave everybody in that audience an amazing highlight of our evening, as well as the fact that we raised hundreds, like lots and lots of money. I think we raised 35,000 or 40,000 for CAPS, and then probably equally that amount for the other groups around the world. So part of what I did is, as I said to the people, if you're donating from PSA South Africa or the Global German Speakers Association, anything we make off your item will go back to your organization. So part of what we were doing, which was why we were saying the music, the magic, and the movement, is we wanted to see if we could get a few more foundations started around the world, and we did.
Yeah, but I feel like this audience here tonight, they want to see something a little bit more exciting. Don't you think? They have seen jugglers throw knives around people before. It's kind of a standard juggling trick. So what we thought we should do is perform the most exciting juggling stunt ever performed in the history of the world. And you're going to be helping us out. Okay? All right. So not only do we have, well, first of all, not only do we have 6 sickles, we also have 7 flaming torches.
7 torches.
We're going to add to the whole deal. Sure. And then we're going to add 4 plates as well.
Yep.
Okay? 4 plates, 6 sickles, 7 torches, and you, Bob.
Right.
I know. Now, it's a little dangerous, but we have this for your protection.
That's right, Bob. We've got this specially devised Kevorkian head here. We're just going to strap it down right on top of here. And you know, if you can look straight ahead, I will just snug this on down. And you know what, folks? Let's be honest. I think this makes Bob look pretty darn good.
Thanks, Bob. I like that. You just get your initials here and signature down the bottom.
Yes.
Just a formality, really. That's for our protection.
Exactly. Sure.
He actually did it.
Oh, that's a first.
Okay. All right. Now, Bob, if you've been paying attention to anything we've done up here the last couple of days, you know we don't have the skill to do all these things ourselves, right? Thank you. That was quick. But that's why you're here. We just need you to do the plates and the flaming torches. We'll take care of the rest.
That's right.
Okay? All right. So to do that, we just need you to hold one of these in each hand, just off your shoulders like that. Those will be for the plates to spin on.
That's right.
Steady right about there.
Now this is how you're going to handle the torches, Bob. These actually fit right up on top of here like this.
Oh my.
Now if you can keep your head perfectly still, don't move your head from that position, you can pick up cable.
Yeah. It's amazing technology. Even you guys can't.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Okay.
This is going to be a beautiful Kodak moment.
Okay. All right. Hands back just a little bit.
You can. Oh, very good.
All right. And folks, this time we mean it when we say this will be the final piece of performing for all of you. So thank you very much. Bob, this is going to be great. Hold still. One final thing. If you do this successfully, it wins you immunity at the next tribal council. Very good. Okay. Good, Bob. Looking good. Okay, nice. There we go. There we go. This is happening. Oh, yeah. One more thing. Oh, yeah. Look out. Here we go. All right. Here it is. Hi-ya! Ladies and gentlemen. Hang on.
We had fun.
Well.
And you were there to see that.
Yeah. Again, which CAPS convention was that? For the folks who are listening, CAPS again is the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, of which Bob and I are both members. How many years have you been a member of CAPS? I know you launched it. You were one of the founding members, but
I've been a member 20. I think we've been going about 20 years. Whatever it's been, whatever we've been doing. I think 20 years, 20 some years.
Yeah, about 20 years.
That was the Global Speakers Summit that we hosted, CAPS hosted in Vancouver in 2013.
Absolutely. You know, I've joined CAPS for the last 10 and a half years now. And every year for the last 10 years, I've been to every CAPS convention. So it's been 10 conventions. And that was a lot of fun in Vancouver. It was such a good venue. We came back a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If you find a good hotel, it works. And why not go? Why not give them the business a second time? So,
yeah.
And, same thing, like Calgary will be hosting the CAPS conference, hopefully live this December, and it'll be back downtown where we did the last one.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you live in the country, sort of, and when you travel around the world of all the hustle and bustle of Barcelona and Spain and Paris and whatever have you, but you come home to a very grounding and kind of quiet community. Tell us a bit more about that. Well, when did you move there, and why did you choose there?
Well, I've been here now 20 years. Longest I've ever lived anywhere in my life, because we traveled a lot when I was a kid, and then I traveled a lot when I was an adult. But my parents used to live in Victoria, and my sister lived in St. Albert in those days. Now she lives across the alley. She moved out here after I did.
Oh, really?
But I used to come out and visit her after Mom and Dad died. And I thought, after a while, well, maybe I'm overstaying my welcome. So I looked for a place that I could come out to, because summers were usually off. I taught one course in the summer. It was 5 days. And then I taught various times during the year, as well as traveling and speaking. So in between trips, I wanted to have a place I could go kick back. And so that's why I bought this place 20 years ago. It's just northeast, about 45 minutes northeast of Edmonton, out by Redwater. Very quiet little town, 70, maybe 75 people. I tell people when I'm traveling the world, I live in a town that's so small, there's a sign at the edge of town saying, "Last one out, please turn off the light."
Yeah.
But it's a great place to live. It's in the country. I'm surrounded by just a few.
Yeah.
A few. And it's a nice place to be when you're not traveling the world. Although in the last 2 months, it's been the only place I've been, other than going to Redwater for groceries and the drugstore, and in Edmonton to the hardware store or Home Depot or Lowe's or something. So
tell us about your upcoming. Oh, I see, Bob. You the internet is playing tricks on you again here. So hopefully you'll come right back, Bob. I'll just kind of do that quick message there. So yeah, it's been great hearing from Bob today, and the Wi-Fi being what it is, I'm sure he'll come right back and be able to kind of wrap it up with us here. And so let us know now or later if you have any questions for Bob. Certainly you can comment in the comment section there of this video, and he'll be able to address your questions along the way. But what can I say about Bob? He's really young at heart, both in terms of learning and really just meeting new people. He loves meeting new people. He loves working with existing friends, and so it's always a pleasure to see Bob in the room, and really young at heart, like I said. And with the all the books that he's written, he's also running I guess a session of some sort with our friend Les in I think he's in Winnipeg, Manitoba, or that area. But anyway, I'm sure Bob will mention that as he come back on here. But if you're into book writing and wanted some help with that in terms of how to write it quickly and be able to get it completed soon, check with Bob about that. I think he has a session on June 2nd coming up here. And so let's see here if I see Bob in the lobby or in the waiting room or in green room. No, not yet. So with that, friends, I hope that you're having a great week so far. Hopefully you had a good long weekend. And while waiting for Bob to get back on here, let me see if I can share a quick story about Bob. Let's see here. What story would come to mind? Hey, Bob, if you don't come back, I'm going to tell any random story of you that I think of here. Let's see. Bob, Toastmasters. Bob is an accredited speaker. So accredited speaker is a very kind of a rare designation that's given to very few. I don't know how many in the world has that, but Bob is one of the first that has that designation. So his commitment to speaking over the decades has certainly culminated into achieving that very prestigious and very difficult to get designation. So again, it's the accredited speaker is the designation there. And in terms of music, I understand that Bob used to attend a lot of music event when he was younger, a lot of live music, and you heard the story about him meeting Jimi Hendrix and spending an hour with him at one point there. And so I remember one time Bob came over to my place as part of the CAPS board that we were on at that time, and I was just showing him some music gear I have in the room there, and when he told me about his music kind of interest and background there, I thought I would turn up the volume a little bit and just to kind of get into the music. And he quickly told me that his days of loud music are somewhat behind him. So I turned it down a bit. Yeah. So let's see if Bob's able to come back. Maybe his internet is really giving him difficulty there. I'm trying to message him on Messenger there. But I think we're going to wrap this up here. And it is too bad that Bob's not able to give us some final kind of observations or comments as we wrap up this this broadcast here. And all right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, folks, for joining us on this rendition of the Conversations with Dune and Friends. And today we enjoyed our time here with Mr. Bob Hooey, Bob the Idea Man Hooey from Alberta, and who is an international traveler and really 60 countries so far, and continues to add to that list. And again, Bob, we appreciate your sharing with us today, and wishing you a great day, Bob, as well as wishing our viewers a wonderful day. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself and take good care of one another. And have a great day, everyone.